afternoon, folks. Getting started in a couple minutes. In the meantime, you can hit up that link on the top to enter in our giveaways for today. All right, looks like it's 1 o'clock. Means it is time to get started. Welcome again, everyone. I'm Black6 from BZPower. Happy to be back doing some streaming. Today we've got 6 LEGO BrickHeadz sets. The LEGO group was kind enough to send us these two, Donald Duck and Daisy Duck. And I figured if we're going to build them, might as well build some other Disney BrickHeadz that I had sitting around that I hadn't gotten around to building yet as well. So of course we got the iconic Mickey and Minnie, paired nicely with Donald and Daisy, and then a couple from the very popular Frozen franchise. We've got Elsa and Anna and Olaf. So yeah, let's start building. We're going to start, I guess, go in set number order, which somehow means building the newest ones first. I guess at some point LEGO kind of redid their BrickHeadz numbering system, and now later ones, the ones like 101 and 126, the set numbers come after 66 through 53 down here, so who knows why or how that is, but it is what it is, and we're just going to go through, and we'll start with good old Donald here. Classic Disney character, contains 90 pieces. Like most normal BrickHeadz sets, retails for $10. It's a little under that 10 cents per part ratio, but you know, for the BrickHeadz, I think it's more important that they kind of stay at a common price point. I do like on the packaging, the background here is full of little Mickey Mouse imagery. So you have like a side profile of his head, you have Mickey's face, you've got his like foot, you've got his pants and stuff. It's definitely some on-brand look there. And of course we've got an animated image of Donald on the side, like most BrickHeadz do, since they are based on other IPs for the most part, other than some of the seasonal ones. They usually have a picture of them from their original source material. And then on the back, you can also see that there is the Goofy and Pluto set. Excuse me. I have not picked that one up yet. If he's still available at some point, I would like to grab him, but sometimes these sets go out of circulation pretty quickly, or because they're popular characters, they're harder to find. And there's a point where I was like trying to collect BrickHeadz, and I still have quite a few of them. But I definitely gave up on collecting them all, just because there's became too many, and started becoming more characters and stuff I just wasn't interested in. And I'm like, oh, if I'm not even interested in this character, like why do I want to make myself carts, you know, buy these sets that I'm not actually interested in. LEGO's expensive enough already. I don't need to be making myself spend money on sets I'm not even a huge fan of. Alright, so let's go ahead streaming software wants to respond. Turn off that giveaway link for now. We've got inside Donald 2 bags worth of parts. We're going to go ahead and open these up. Got an 8x8 plate for the base and one instruction book. No stickers. I don't think I've ever seen a BrickHeadz set with stickers, so that'd be kind of odd if there was one here. And we will get our webcam ready and start our build. Alright, so it looks like we are starting with Donald's tail, I would assume. Using this little slip piece here. We've got our first printed part, 1x4 blue brick. I guess this is kind of part of his shirt on there. I guess this is the back of his shirt because it's going above the tail. It's kind of nice to have some details on the back. Got some 2x2 round bricks, which are frequently used on the inside of BrickHeadz. Kind of like part of that brain stem or spinal cord construction they've got going on. Always interesting to see what color 2x2 bricks end up going in the head. His hands there, like using the tiles there for kind of some smooth texture. All right, we've got our next printed brick. This is a 1x2. Is it 2 studs tall or 2 bricks tall? Yeah, I guess so. So 1x2x2 with his little bow tie on there. So what's everyone been doing the past couple weeks? Anything fun, exciting? What have we had as far as like LEGO news coming out? I think we had the new Super Mario set was revealed. It's kind of a cool looking model with like the scenes coming out of the inside of the question mark block. I'm really kind of curious to see how that mechanism works. Alright, so here is Donald's brainstem, so to speak. I got 2x2 pink brick. generally represents the brain. And he's got some light blue in there as well. And I say like represents like a very loose sense, but it's kind of like they needed to fill in around all these snot bricks. And so it was kind of a funny little joke that they came up with, and it's stuck all these years the BrickHeadz have been around now. Oh, we also had the season finale of LEGO Masters Season 2. Have our winners. Which I think the team that won was very deserving of it. I don't know if we want to. I don't know if it's time to talk spoilers on that yet or not, but I thought the team who won definitely deserved it. Was surprised as far as which team placed second and which team placed third. That definitely was not expecting that turn of events. But one thing that has been mentioned is that the final winner is kind of based on their performance throughout the season and not just the final build. So even if one team had a better final build, if another team did better throughout the season, they were considered a higher placement, which I guess I can definitely see where that would have impacted the final results for Season 2. Come back, eye. Alright, I've got Donald's bill. What does it actually say where? So it goes right there. Yep. Okay. He needs some eyeballs. I'm trying to think what other. I feel like there have been more LEGO sets announced the past couple weeks, but oh, the Fender. I think the Fender has been new since our last stream. That is one I'm definitely excited for. I think it looks pretty great. I'm not sure how I feel about more of these sets coming out that have like 2-in-1 models, like the Porsche 911 and stuff like that. Because it's like I just want to build the model. Like if I'm buying a set to build it, like personally I do for most sets. Like I just want to build it. I don't want to have to like decide between which version. So like with the Fender, there is the red or black version. And I don't want to feel like I have like these leftover pieces when I'm done building. After I make that decision. Maybe I'm weird like that. Let me know what you guys think about the kind of 2-in-1 design for these high-end sets. Got some 2x3 wedge plates for Donald's feet. Fitting, given my little duck feet. Alright, we're already getting close. I think I should probably just leave that giveaway link up the entire time for this stream, because some of these builds are going to go by pretty quick. I feel like this hat here might be the most interesting part of the Donald build. Display base. And we are done. It's going to be a quick stream today, but that's the idea, because I've still got a lot of packing and prep for BrickFair New Jersey to do. Alright, so let's take a closer look at our Donald build. So, do you like his beak, his bill there? I feel like that looks pretty good. Kind of captures the idea of the character. Using the quarter round tiles also kind of captures his look. I'm not sure how I feel about just using the 2x4 tiles on the sides and back. I feel like it's very plain. I guess he is pretty plain as far as animation goes, but like maybe on the back they could have added like some cheese slopes or something to like give him some kind of feather texture. I do like the tail. I think the tail is a nice little touch. And the duck feet work pretty well here. The hat was probably the most interesting part with the curved slopes and the cheese slope and the little clip and hinge piece there. Yeah, it definitely looks like Donald, but nothing too outstanding or amazing. All right, if you're a Disney fan, I think he's be like a nice little desk decoration. But even as far as like a parts pack, I don't think he'd necessarily be the best one of the group, considering he's only got 90 parts. All right, so let's go. We're gonna build Daisy next. So let me update our overlays there. And then we will open up Daisy's bags. I guess we'll pick the winner first. Let's see. See how many people we've got. All right, we've got some people entering, so we'll pick our first winner, and then we'll open up Daisy. All right, Paleo Bricks, congrats! You've won a Disney Series 2 collectible minifig. Let us know like your top 3 choices from that series, and we'll do our best to accommodate. And of course, we'll go for everyone on the stream today. All right. So next up, we've got Daisy Duck here. 110 parts, so 20 more than Donald, but the same price. Got some nice colors there with the light purple and the pink. She's got the big bow on her head and different feet. She does not have like the duck feet. It looks like she's actually wearing shoes, unlike Donald, who walks around barefoot, I guess. There we go. Got a little artistic rendering of her. You can see her bow and heels there. Looks like she's got a bracelet on there that they didn't capture on there. Shame on you, LEGO. And then comparing her to Donald and Goofy and Pluto. All right. Alright, so we actually got 3 bags for Daisy. There's extra 20 parts. Another bag. Instruction book and our 8x8 base plate. So in addition to Season 2 of the US LEGO Masters, I've finally been catching up on Season 3 of the Australian version of the show. That aired earlier in the year, like back in like the April-May time frame. I never got around to watching it then, so I've recently been catching up on that. There are definitely some things about the Australian version that I like more than the US. Especially in Season 2 of the US version, they added 2 more teams. And I feel like they kept the episode count the same, or if they did increase it, they only increased it by essentially like 2 more. So it's like, hey, 2 more teams, so 2 more episodes. But like every season of the Australian version has only had 8 teams. But like season 3 only has 8 teams, but is 14 episodes long. So like not every week is an elimination. And so you have like more chances to like earn immunity for a specific build. There's actually a twist going on in season 3 right now where I am that I won't spoil in case you're interested in watching, that I really like that they're doing, that I thought was really interesting. Yeah, a lot of different things that they do in the Australian version that I feel like the US version could definitely learn from. Yeah, I think the challenges and the judging are great in the US version. I think Will Arnett is a fantastic host. It's just more like just the format that I think could be improved just to add more excitement, variety, and fun to it. Yeah, it's already a fun show, but can make it better. That said, I'm pretty sure in this season of the Australian show, they actually did take a challenge or 2 from the first season of the US show. So, you know, it can go both ways. Oh, didn't comment, we do have a printed brick here, 1x4 with a little V-neck for Daisy's dress. So far, her build has been fairly similar to Donald's, other than some of the printing. The base was a little different. She's got this 2x3 plate down here that Donald did not. That kind of resulted in a little bit of a different construction for the snot bracket for her tail, but she does still have that snot bracket there. Actually, did I skip the step where we're supposed to attach the tail? Or does that come later? Oh, okay. Interestingly enough, she uses the same color 2x2 bricks in her brain there. Got some pretty interesting layout going on her head here. Let's see if I can get my, I feel like I need to switch my cameras and put the normal camera on for the close-up shots. But yeah, so she's got uses like a 2x2 plate with only 2 studs and a jumper, and a 1x4 plate with only 2 studs to make a lot of tiled space here, with like 1 stud kind of in the center and then like some studs around. Obviously we need to connect her bow somehow, so I'm wondering if that's what that is for. But it's definitely interesting. Kind of adds some variety there. Got another printed part, a 1x4 tile with her eyelashes. Cute little addition. Kind of curious to see, looking at Minnie's box, if it's like the exact same printing, just on tan instead of white. I have to do that comparison when we get there. This camera's definitely not liking all this white on white building. Also kind of interesting that we're building most of her face separately and then attaching it on. Pretty similar build to Donald's again. Including the bill, which looks like it is identical to his. Looks like also similar to Donald, that she's just got these 2x4 white tiles covering her head. Got her little tail, same thing as Donald. Alright, they're building her feet. Little high heels, which don't look like they actually have heels. They do feel like they are a bit wide. I guess, you know, she's a cartoon character, so. To work on her bow, which is attaching to the center here. Fairly straightforward construction. But even though the two sides of the bow are pretty straightforward, they are attached with some snot techniques. This kind of makes for an interesting assembly. And lots of little parts going into the bow, so you can see where those extra 20 parts on Donald come from. She's got a little display base. So let's take a look. The finished product. Got a pretty straightforward build. Made a little more complex with that snot bow on the top. So you need all the tiles because that 1x1 tile would have gotten in the way of the studs here, and the same thing on the back. So it kind of makes sense as to why they did it quite that way. Other than the bow, it's pretty straightforward. I think the shoes are an interesting departure from the normal BrickHeadz build. And normally they just kind of have a 1x2 series of legs that go down to nondescript feet that are also 1x2. So it's kind of one thing that sets her apart from some other BrickHeadz. It's got a little tail on the back, which is a cute little detail as well. Better than Donald, I would say. Maybe a little less iconic though. So if you're adding to your collection of Disney characters, not a bad one. Also nice little parts pack for some pink pieces from the bow and the shoes. A little bit of the light purple, but not a whole lot. So not bad overall. Not a horrible addition to your collection. But I think it's more for the Disney collectors than anyone else. Alright, let's get ready for our next one, which will be going into the Frozen Zone. Not to be confused with Frozone from The Incredibles, so I do believe had a BrickHead. But before we start that, let's pick our next winner. CZQ, congratulations, you've won a Disney Series 2 collectible minifig. Again, let us know your top 3 choices, and we'll do our best to accommodate and try to get you one of those. Alright, so moving along, going to Frozen. We've got good old Elsa here. Interesting that it doesn't say Frozen anywhere on here. I guess they're just going for brand recognition of the character on her own. It does look like she's got some interesting building techniques with her hair going around the side. It is 130 parts. I think it's the second most of any of the sets that we're building today, so that's kind of interesting. Also see some interesting build techniques on the dress. I'm not sure how well it comes across in the box, but it's definitely asymmetric. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes. And there we've got the Frozen logo with Elsa as she appears in the films. And then of course, Olaf and Anna, who will be building right after this. Also interesting that she has a punch tab, whereas Donald and Daisy were both taped. Although there is, the Donald and Daisy came out this year, and Elsa is from 2018. Didn't realize that set's been sitting in my LEGO storage pile for that long. Two bags of parts here. Lots of pale yellow. I feel like this is the most pale yellow I've seen in a set since the Fiat. Which is kind of funny going from a $100 set to a $10 set. Just shows you how rare of a color the pale yellow is. We've also got this nice medium azure color that we're using here too. I feel like you don't see super often. Alrighty, we've got some interesting building choices. Just making me very curious to see where we're going with this build. So I guess to capture like the curve of her dress, we've got this 1x1 snot brick that we're then putting this little assembly with this 1x2 curve slope on. And we have the brick yellow or light tan bricks here. So it just kind of leaves like a little bit of brick yellow showing that I guess is supposed to be kind of like her leg coming through the slit in her dress. So it's a kind of a cool little technique there. And then some more 1x2 or curve slopes there to kind of add to that effect. So it's really neat. So already we're like 10 steps in or 12 steps into this, and it's already a more interesting build than Donald or Daisy. And a spring yellowish green 1x1 by 1 2/3 snot brick. I haven't built, we're only like halfway through our stream today, but I'm feeling like Elsa here is going to be like the winner of the show. Did I skip a step somewhere? Yes, I'm supposed to put some plates there. Which is a shame because I can't tell you to go out and buy her because she's been out of print for a couple years, I think. And as cool of a build as she is shaping up to be so far, with some interesting pieces. Oh, speaking of which, I used the wrong 1x4 plate here. Medium azure. All right, like look at this this snot bracket in whatever color this is, like this pale light blue. We've got our first printed brick in this set, 1x4, with Elsa's chest on there for her dress. Interesting texture there with like the almost like brick pattern going on. I guess maybe that's kind of accurate to her dress in the films, maybe. It has been a while since I've seen the first Frozen, and I never got around to seeing the second, so I won't pretend to be an expert. All right, now we're getting to some of this pale yellow, like these snot brackets here. Some plates, some quarter round tiles, some excellent variety. As her hair kind of going over her shoulders there. Those are some really cool techniques with some interesting snot going on the side here to make that all happen. It's more of this lovely light blue shade, whose name I am forgetting. Kind of her cape, I guess. Cloak, maybe. Continue with that light blue color over her right arm. Kind of show the cloak going over her shoulder there. Nice little effect. And definitely all about the asymmetry in her body here. Like the dress here, very asymmetric. The two arms are all the same because you got the hair coming around. Back is fairly straightforward, but still has some interesting techniques with the snot for the cape. She's got some bright green, I guess technically not bright, it's normal green, bricks for her brain stem there. Bright green is like the newer lighter shade. Very straightforward BrickHead face. Does have the little pale yellow curved tiles there for her hair. And we're about to get a whole bunch more pale yellow here. Did I skip another step somewhere along the way? Oh yeah, totally. There we go, now that piece attaches. So there's a little variety in the hair. Which I feel like that's something could have been done on Donald and Daisy. Some variety in the feathers in their case. Just give it a little bit of texture. And for some BrickHead sets, I would be like building both sides of the head at the same time, but for this one there's been so much asymmetry. I feel like the sides of the head are going to be different enough that I'll just do one at a time. definitely a lot of little parts going in her hair. Lots of these pale yellow 1x2 curve slopes and 1x1/4 round tiles. Having a great pale yellow parts pack here. Alright, so it looks like after all, two sides of her head are pretty much identical other than one quarter round tile to connect the hair. Alright, and now her base. And she will be done. We'll be ready to pick our third winner for the day. Alright, so here's Elsa. Definitely the best build of the three we've done so far today. Lots of interesting techniques, some asymmetry, some great colors, the dark azure, the pale yellow in the hair, the shade of blue, whose name I'm forgetting, for the cape. But yeah, I love that we got like that little hint of tan there for like her leg coming through the slit in her dress. Kind of adds like a bit of dynamicism to her posing, and instead of just being like a static character, looks like she's kind of maybe flowing or moving or getting ready to step forward. I love the hair along her left shoulder, kind of going over the shoulder and then down to the front. Some really interesting snot techniques with some snot brackets and other snot elements there to make that happen. And she's got some nice texture with all these 1x2 curved slopes and other pieces on her head in the lovely pale yellow color to give her that nice look. Definitely better than Donald and Daisy. Sorry, Donald and Daisy fans, but Elsa kicks your butt here. Unfortunately, she is not an active set anymore, so I think she's pretty difficult to find. Otherwise, I would be recommending you go get her right now. Alright, so let's get ready for our biggest set of the day. But first we've got a winner to pick. Let's see who winner number 3 will be. Woomy World, congrats. Won a Disney Series 2 collectible minifig. Of course, let us know your top choices in the email, and we'll do our best to accommodate. Alright, so next up, our biggest set, 201 pieces, retailed for $15. The box has seen some slightly better days here, but contents inside are still good. So we've got Anna, Elsa's sister, and Olaf, their self-aware snowman. Looks like he's got some interesting printing there, so does Anna for that matter. She's got the freckles going on too. And there we can see how they appear in the films, and an alternate view of them. Each have their own base. I feel like Olaf doesn't quite transfer too well to the BrickHeadz form. He kind of loses some of that funness. They did make that brick-built Olaf set a couple years ago that had a bunch of different accessories and stuff. That was a really fun one. If you're into Frozen and such. Alright. So, we've got 3 bags of parts. It looks like they're just mixing together Anna and Olaf. This is a little odd, I feel like. Usually in BrickHeadz sets where there are 2 BrickHeadz in one box, they usually separate the bags between them. I guess that's what I remember. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong. Alright. Also odd is that she only got 1 instruction book instead of 2. Maybe this is just one of the early 2 packs before they decided to split them up. I feel like in other ones it's always been separate. Alright, so we are starting with Olaf. Insert reference to "Do you want to build a snowman?" And while perhaps he doesn't necessarily do a great job of capturing the look of Olaf from the film, he definitely has some interesting techniques for starting right out of the gate with some snot elements here. Using some of these curved bricks and some snot brackets, we're already creating this nice rounded shape that is really giving off some snowman vibes. We've got this nice printed 2x2 tile with some, I guess, coal pieces. And now we're switching from a very snot build using these 4 studs here to go in the 4 tubes on the bottom of this 3x3 plate to immediately offset that and give us an odd building surface. Alright, now I need a 1x3 plate that they have printed on the side of for another piece of coal. I think that sort of printing first started in the Minecraft sets, where they were starting to print on the sides of plates. At least that's the first time I remember seeing it. So while I may not be a fan of the Minecraft sets, they definitely did lead to some interesting techniques coming into LEGO builds, so I will thank them for that. Or interesting prints, I guess, at least, into LEGO builds. I've got some more corner snot bricks here. We've got a tile in the middle of Olaf's head. Oh, okay, so we've got a clip going in. Curiouser and curiouser. See, we've got this 1x1 brick with a clip sitting on top of a tile. So I'm curious to see what. It's probably for the plant stem piece to come out of the top for his head or something like that. So he's going to be lacking the traditional brain stem that most BrickHeadz have, because they need that interior space for actual building space to accomplish his shape. I think I would have liked to see some curve slopes for his head instead of just tiles. You know, he is a snowman after all. Maybe make him a little rounder. But I guess, you know, they are BrickHeadz after all. They are supposed to be kind of cute and blocky. So I'll try not to be too judgy there. So here we're using the little tube on the bottom of this 1x2 rounded plate to go into the hollow stud on this snot brick to offset that. So you go from 3 studs wide up here to 4 studs wide down below. Got a printed 1x2 tile with his silly teeth there. Of course, we've got an orange cone for the nose. I mean, he certainly looks like a snowman. I'm just not sure he looks like Olaf. Oh, and they have snuck in a little pink 1x1 plate for his brain here. And using a 1x1 rounded plate with a bar to go into that clip. So it makes the brain stem, but it gives us an anti-stud in the top middle there. And then you take our little branch piece and a 1x1 round plate with a hollow stud, and that goes in to the anti-stud. That works out very well. Was not expecting that little technique to come through in the end there. He's got an interesting display base with only 2 studs because of his unique method of building his base there. So even though he is 4 studs wide, like a normal BrickHeadz, he needs a special base to stand on. Alright, we're gonna put him off, put him right there for now, and build Elsa. And once we're done with her, we will take a closer look at both of the BrickHeadz. Anna's got a nice printed 1x4 brick here, some kind of flower patterns for the hem of her dress. I feel like it's a very Nordic look, which is fitting, I guess. I think a much more straightforward build here than Elsa was. Another print for Anna's dress there, some nice little detailing for like her, I guess it's like her collar. Alright, getting some interesting building techniques in here, starting with some snot on the sides. Looks like this is just kind of her cloak. Or cape, something along those lines. Kind of a similar design to Elsa's at the end of the day, just a little different, more studs showing here as opposed to using the 1x4 curved bricks that Elsa did. But the same kind of design with the 2x2 curved slopes and the 2x4 tile. But I think in this regard it kind of ties the two characters together, which is nice. I think that works well there. A slight difference, we're adding some more curved slopes to kind of wrap the cloak around her shoulders, which is kind of a cool little touch there. Some nice color blocking to get that done. Starting on her hair, which, you know, where Elsa's goes over just the one shoulder, looks like Anna's is going around both shoulders with this lovely dark orange color. Reminds me of the Marvel Black Widow BrickHeadz and the dark orange parts pack that it was. You can see the hair kind of flowing down over her shoulders. Uses the same green bricks for her brainstem that her sister does, which is certainly fitting. I'm going to hope again that there is some asymmetry between the two sides of her head. Do each one at a time. Lots and lots of the 1x1 quarter round tiles there. To kind of give that idea of like the braids, I guess, of her hair. I think that works decently enough. Alright, another printed part here. 1x4 tan tile with her freckles on it. I said before, it's been a while since I've seen the Frozen films. I'm trying to remember, do we ever actually see their parents in any of the flashbacks? Because I'm just kind of like looking at Elsa sitting off to the back there by Anna here. I'm like, they are two very different looking people. Like, what do their parents look like to result in that genetic diversity? Certainly possible, you know, whatever combination of dominant and recessive genes. You know, one inherited ice powers, so, you know, storytelling magic always has to come into play to some degree. Top of her head, definitely much more plain than her sister's, but I do like kind of little bangs, again with more of these quarter round tiles. Flows nicely into there. Alright, sadly it's looking like a pretty symmetric side of her head here. I guess overall, the entire figure is pretty symmetric other than these two little tiles here. Alright, last but not least, pop on some 1x2 plates for her feet. And yeah, then Anna is done. Which means we'll get to take a quick look at her and then figure out our next winner. Alright. Alright, so we've got Anna and Olaf. Take a look at Olaf first. Again, just kind of looks like a generic snowman. I feel like the only thing that makes him look Olaf-y is that kind of a single tooth he has going on there. I guess maybe the stuff sticking out of his head, but generally pretty generic. I did like the building technique to get his rounded base. I thought that was really clever. I like the arms and the using those 1x2 curved plates to get the rounded mouth. So I think it was a good build. Just doesn't look a whole lot like Olaf, which, you know, I guess you're kind of limited by the BrickHeadz style in this case. Also would like to see some more roundedness going on over here with like maybe some 1x2 curve slopes and some cheese slopes to make things a little more rounded and snowman-y. But all told, not a bad build for like a second build in a 2-pack. And then we have got Anna. Has some nice building techniques for her hair. So definitely some great parts with all this dark orange and the dark pink. There's also some good techniques building her cloak along the sides, but disappointingly symmetric, I guess would be the final verdict. The only part that's not symmetric are these two curved tiles and for her bangs there, but the left and right side of her are identical. Looks good, definitely captures her vibe with like the two tresses going over her shoulders, the cloak and everything. So I think they do a good job of capturing the character. Just the build wasn't as exciting as it could have been, especially compared to her sister. Alright, so that was that one. Let's see who winner number 4 will be. Hopefully get some more people entering. Otherwise we may not be giving away all of our figs today. Alright. Mushy the Mushroom. Congratulations, you've also won a Disney Series 2 collectible minifig. You can just let us know your top 3 choices and the email we'll send you, and we'll let you get you that prize as soon as we can. Alright. Oh, need to update our overlays here. Getting into the home stretch. Alright, we have got the mouse that started it all. Good old Mickey, 109 parts. Apparently this set came out celebrating 90 years of Mickey Mouse. Mickey, the true original. I'm not sure what that means, like what other fake originals there are. What year did he, yes, this is from 2018 as well, just like the Frozen sets. Picked this up at some point and just never got around to building it. So unfortunately that means if the set comes out really good and you want to build it yourself, you're going to be a little hard pressed to, sadly. But we'll see how he comes out. Looks like he's going to be pretty straightforward, similar feet to Daisy that we saw. I am curious to see how the ears connect. I feel like that's going to be the interesting thing that kind of sets him apart from other BrickHeadz sets. Oh no, a collectible rare Mickey set being opened. At least I assume at this point, you know, since it's a Disney set. That's it's now been out of print for a couple of years. There are people who are like, oh, it's rare. That's fine, whatever makes you happy. Although I don't always open LEGO sets I buy right away, all the LEGO sets I buy, I generally intend to open. I'm not one for buying a set and then just leaving it sitting for collecting value. But again, to each their own. I won't tell you how to play with your toys if you don't tell me to. Alright, we do have some interesting techniques coming in here with some Technic. I assume that's because we're going to be sticking a 318 bar in the inside of that Technic axle to give Mickey a tail at some point. Trying to look around to see what pieces we have here that could be used for his tail. I see a whip piece. I think Mickey does not have that long of a tail, but we'll see what they decide to do. Alright, we've got a printed part here, 1x4 red brick with I guess they're like the buttons on his pants. I think it's not necessarily made readily clear. I think you can never think too hard that some of these classic animated characters, whether it's Disney or Looney Tunes or whatever, because it's like, so Donald and Daisy aren't wearing any sort of pants. And Mickey has pants, but no shirt. Also, they're anthropomorphic animals. Logic need not apply. Of course, he's got the white clips for his hands because he is wearing gloves. Again, you know, one of those things I never quite understood why he was wearing gloves. I don't think it really matters in the big scheme of things, but it is what it is. Alright, we're getting some interesting snot techniques here where we're combining both a snot bracket and a snot brick so they are offset by half a plate, which could result in some interesting shaping and textures. And then we're also connecting some 2x2 plates with only 2 studs to the sides of his face. I'm like, it didn't look like his face was that complicated if we're looking at it from the front. So we're using these little corner wall pieces to kind of make, if I attach them right, kind of make a little gap here, and that will likely be where their ears go in. I guess we're probably gonna have to attach via clips somehow. This is definitely coming up to be one of the more complicated head builds I've seen in a BrickHead set. I think maybe some of the Star Wars characters had some pretty complex heads, like Vader and Boba Fett. This one's definitely up there. Alright, so that half plate offset from earlier is basically letting the nose, Mickey's nose, stick out just a little bit extra from his face. It feels like accurate to the animation style. He's kind of got that nose that sticks out, but they don't want it to stick out too much here because then it kind of ruins the BrickHeadz look. I think this is probably one of those BrickHead sets that they went back and forth with between the designers and Disney over and over again. Like, all right, here's the Mickey Mouse style guide that you must abide by. All right, so we're using some of those snot bricks on the side to kind of flesh out his cheeks here. I think it's pretty safe to say that Mickey is going to be symmetric from the two sides. And I like how that half plate offset has continued to the side of his face, kind of making those cheeks stick out that little extra bit. Alright, so we're switching to do the feet. I think this is a normal kind of thing that they do in BrickHead sets where they get to a certain point going up, and then it's like, alright, we can't build any more here without getting rid of the flat surface, so let's flip them upside down so you have a solid flat surface to build on top of. You could probably argue, hey, why don't you just start with the feet, or do the feet earlier in the build, but this is kind of like the last possible moment where you can flip him upside down and build the feet. Same foot technique that Daisy had, or I guess that Daisy will have. Oh, and then the tail is indeed this whipped piece attached in that Technic pin. I mean, I feel like conceptually, right, it's Mickey Mouse. I know he has a tail, but I can't think of like a situation where you ever think of Mickey having a tail, especially one that is quite this long. Like, it seems appropriate for a mouse, but I just feel like, I don't know, it's been a while since I've been to a Disney park and seen Mickey walking around, I can't think of him having a big tail sticking out of the back there. But it's like, no, he's Mickey Mouse. He's a mouse. He must have a tail, right? Questioning everything. Alright, so then we're using these dish pieces. I want to say these were like originally Fabuland, or are these like a newer mold? There was a time when on the bottom they actually like had markings on them that indicated they were Fabuland. But those go on these little clips we attached. And those go in there pretty sturdily, and definitely get that ear shape. Gonna want to make sure you push them both down so they both go down as far as possible so they stay even. Otherwise, you might look a little lopsided there. And yeah, that is apparently it for Mickey. Transition. There we go. Alright, so there is our finished Mickey Mouse. You gotta also watch out that you don't push the ears forward too much. I mean, I guess you could. I don't think it looks as good as if they are straight back. Definitely looks like a Mickey. They got all of the major shapes there. You know, they got the red pants with the buttons, the key orange shoes, the white gloved hands, big ears, the nose sticking out. So if it looks like Mickey, the tail though, the tail is weird. I guess like go look at pictures of Mickey Mouse and see like what his tail looks like. So yeah, solid little build. Definitely some interesting techniques in getting that half plate offset for his nose and cheeks, and then again some interesting techniques for attaching the ears. But the body generally was pretty straightforward. You know, maybe a little better than Donald and Daisy, but not amazing. But you know, at least he's an iconic character that people will recognize. All right. Let's get ready for our final build for today. Can't have Mickey Mouse without Minnie. So we're gonna get her info up here. And got another winner to pick. Alright, Bellum Nom 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 Nom, you've won a Disney Series 2 collectible minifig. You'll be getting an email, and let us know your top 3 choices. We'll do our best to accommodate. Alright, last but certainly not least for today, Minnie Mouse. 129 parts, just one fewer than Elsa. Of course, similar to Daisy Duck, she's got the big bow, different design. It looks like there are some similarities there, but I feel like that is the big thing, keeping her apart from Mickey, although she does also have the dress versus Mickey's pants there. But it does look like there's a lot of similarities between Minnie and Mickey and their build, so we'll see how that shapes up. There we go. Oh, I guess here in Minnie's picture here, she clearly has a tail there. It's just not something I ever think about. Let's build us a mouse. Alright, so the first few steps are very similar to Mickey, but then we've got these corner slope pieces with polka dots for her dress, as well as a 2x2 slope. And so that immediately sets her apart from her, I don't know, partner, husband. What is Mickey and Minnie's relationship status? Soulmate. So also got some 1x4 bricks with polka dots. Lots of polka dot bricks here. I feel like that could be very useful for some people. Alright, so now that we've made it past the dress, her build is shaping up to be similar again to Mickey's. I assume it's going to stay that way until we get to the bow on the top of her head. Including our half plate offset for with the snot brackets for the nose and cheeks. Some different colors for the parts, but pretty much the same parts going in the same places. You have some differences coming in here, getting to the top of the head, probably so we can accommodate the attachment point for the bow. Time to do a little comparison check here. It does look like it is the exact same print between Minnie and Daisy, just on a different color. So 3 years later, broke out the old CAD design files or whatever they use to do print designs. And I was like, all right, stick it on a tan or a white tile instead of a tan one. Wonder if that's something that's like specified in the Disney design guides. Like, here is how you draw Minnie's eyelashes. Dropped a piece. I have to find out where that went. See if I can reclaim it. Otherwise, Minnie is gonna be looking rather strange. And you get all the way back there. Definitely getting a lot of deja vu in this build. Right down to the whip for the tail. Although she is certainly the most modest of these anthropomorphic characters. She does have her little white petticoat going on there. I guess Mickey's wearing pants too, but Donald and Daisy, not so much. I think that's something that, you know, Walt and the original animators probably didn't give a lot of thought to at the time. Just like what makes sense in the moment, and here we are like almost 100 years later, living in a world with very strange anthropomorphic characters, with clothes that defy logic. You know, Goofy is an anthropomorphic dog, but Pluto is a regular dog. Alright, so yeah, slight difference in the head, getting rid of one of the curved slopes so we can add a jumper plate for the bow to attach to. Well, other than that, Minnie is pretty much exactly the same in the head as Mickey was. Except for this bow that we're about to build. Alright, and our last printed part for today is like 1x3 inverted slope with some more polka dots on it. Really going all out with the polka dots here. Alright, I think Minnie is just about done. Just need to do the base. And we'll wrap things up for today. Very short stream, but that was kind of to be expected. Okay, so here's Minnie. I think much like Mickey, does a good job of capturing the character with all those printed polka dot parts. Try saying that 3 times fast, printed polka dot parts. I do like the technique for the bow. I think if I had built her before Mickey, I would have been a little more impressed, but pretty much it's the same as Mickey, just with a bow on top and some slopes for the dress. They do make a great little pair though for display, and I think they complement each other quite well. And I do still like the technique for the ears and the cheeks. Definitely a good build. I would say of the 7 BrickHeadz that we've got here today, Elsa, by far my favorite. Just because of the variety of build techniques, the asymmetry, and the colors that you get, that pale yellow and that light blue. Just a shame that now she is harder to get, so I can't tell you guys to go and buy her for a fun build and some nice parts. Honestly, so the 2 sets LEGO was kind enough to send us, Donald and Daisy, not very impressive. The builds were nearly identical. They've got different feet. Donald's got the bare duck feet. Daisy's got her shoes on. Daisy's got the bow. Donald's got the hat. But they're just very plain from the sides, right? They just have like these tiles on there. I mean, they have the little cute little duck tails. Woo! But other than that, they're just super plain. I don't know. Just not very exciting. Like at least Mickey and Minnie, who are also have similar builds, they have like interesting stuff with the ears and the nose and the cheeks that kind of gives you something exciting and interesting to build with, even if they kind of get a little repetitive between the 2 of them. Olaf was a good build, but doesn't really capture Olaf from the films too much, I don't think. Anna, also like an okay build. Definitely some nice parts with all that dark orange. You know, not an unexciting build, but does not compare to her sister. So those are the Disney BrickHeadz that we've built today. You know, very normal BrickHeadz builds. Elsa, definitely the standout. But not a whole lot to say. They're definitely some of the most unexciting BrickHeadz that I think we've built on any of these streams or set reviews that we have done. So, I guess we can turn off our giveaway link for now. The last time I looked, we only had 5 people who had entered, so that may mean we're done giving out stuff. Yep, alright, so no one else to win. Everyone who entered today got to win, so congrats to all of our winners. Again, you should all have an email for me so we can get your mailing address and get you that prize. Yeah, we're going to be taking a break for a few weeks in our live builds. Next weekend, we'll be at BrickFair New Jersey. So if you're headed there, we'll see you there. If not, you can keep your eyes peeled on our Instagram page, and I'll be posting pictures from the show there. The weekend after that, I'm going to be out of town on a personal trip. So maybe the weekend after, which will be in like mid-October at that point, maybe we'll do a build then. But we'll see if I'm fully recovered enough to do a stream at that point. We'll keep you posted, keep your eyes peeled on our Instagram and social media and the front page of BZPower to to see when our next build will be. And until then, keep safe, get vaccinated, wear a mask, and we will check in with you all next time when we do our next build. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Take care.